Hello dear students, welcome to the computer class of standard 9. Today we will discuss chapter 1 Introduction to Computer. So let's start the chapter. Let's start chapter 1 Introduction to Computers. In this chapter we are going to discuss about the working of a computer, the basic working process of a computer, for which applications we are using computer, the basic components of a computer and characteristics of a computer. So these are the topics we are going to discuss in this chapter. So let's start it. Students, we already know that nowadays computers are useful for the variety of applications, and we can say that computer is one of the great blessings invented for the human beings. It has covered all the sectors to serve the different problems of a different fields, and that is why it is known as a multi-purpose machine. Computers are useful in industries, government, education, research as well as entertainment sectors, and even though it is useful to solve the basic daily routine business activities also. So that is why it is known as a multi-purpose machine. Then after working of a typical computer, we already know that once we are inventing any device, it has its particular work. So here computers are used for the computing, and here computing is not restricted to only mathematical computing but to a variety of logic based tasks. Means here it is not restricted for the calculation only, but variety of logic based task also you can perform with the computer. But here one basic requirement is, we already know that computer is a machine, it is not a human being. So if you want to perform anything with the computer, you have to give step by step clear guidelines to the computer, and that guidelines we are writing, so we can write it down these guidelines in the form of English language, and this step by step clear guidelines written in a English language is known as a algorithm. So algorithm is the basic requirement to solve the logic based task for the computers, and once the instruction is given to the computer, the computer can perform the task like generating bills, reserving tickets, printing mark sheets, printing business reports, or communicating messages. And students, even computer can also deal with audio, video, graphs and animations besides text and numbers. So these are the things how the computer works and what is the basic requirement. And once the computer has given the step by step instruction, it performs the computations and generates the result or performs an action as an output. So here we can say that if you want a output, if we want a result, first we have to give proper instruction to the computer. Then only we can expect the proper output from the computer. So now we can say we will discuss two terms, that is what is input and what is output. So input means the instruction, the data we are giving to the computer, that known as a input. Then after computer process this input, means it will do some processing, and then after it will generate the result, that is called output. And here one of the best advantages, the computer can remember this data, instructions and calculated results for a future use by storing the details in a memory. Means once the task is performed by you, you can save the task into the computer memory. So in future, if you want to perform the same task, there is no need to write down the instruction again, because that is already stored in a memory, so you can use it again. And here in the image you can see the simple flow of working of a computer. So first step is a input, because input means instruction we are giving to the computer to solve our task. Then after the middle, that is the process, that is the compulsory thing. Without processing, the output will not come. So process means it will do the processing to generate your result, and this remembers the data and executes the instruction. And then after, the output means the presents result to the user to our computer screen. Suppose you want to perform an addition, and for the addition first you have to give data, means information. You have to give numbers to the students for which numbers you want to perform addition. So suppose I have given 15 plus 20. So that is my instruction given to the computer. Then after I said that I want to perform addition. So that is the special instruction given, that you have to process the number, you have to add the numbers. Okay. So the addition is the process for a computer. So in the process section, what it will do, it will add the 15 with the 20. And at the last, it will generate the output, that is 35, the result of our addition operation. So that is the simple working process of a computer. And further, it is not compulsory to repeat the instruction and enter large amount of data every time we use a computer. That we already discussed, because we are saving the things inside the memory. We can store the data and instruction within the computer itself in such a way that it can be understood by a machine. See students, here written that we can store the data in a computer in a way that is understood by a machine. Students, computer is a machine and it understands only machine language, that is written in the form of 0 and 1. So once we are storing the information inside the computer, it is converted in the form of machine language. And then after, once the program has been stored inside the memory, we can use it anytime when we want. So storing such set of instruction is useful for a repetitive performance of a task. And once the set of instruction in a machine readable format called program is stored in a computer, it can be used many times with different sets of data. This concept is known as a stored program concept. So the program, the instruction that is stored inside the computer memory in the form of machine language, that is known as a program. So here students, you have to understand what is the difference between algorithm and program. The step-by-step clear guidelines written in a English language, that is called algorithm, and the program means the instruction that is stored inside the computer in the form of machine language, in the form of computer understandable language, that is known as a program. And once the program is stored inside the computer memory, we can use it any time when we want, and that is why this concept is known as a stored program concept. Here you can see the applications of computers are enlisted that highlights the use of computers in a different areas. So the applications are ticket reservations, bank operations, inventory management and manufacturing support, entertainment such as playing games, composing music and editing movies, teaching, financial accounting, correspondence and publishing like composing newspapers, writing letters, books, etc. space applications, robotics, email and chatting, website development, etc. So these are the fields where computers are very useful. So now let's move forward to the next topic, that is simple model of a computer, that we already discussed through our previous diagram, that I'll show you again. See, this is the diagram and this is the typical working process of a computer that works based on input, process and output. So students, for that input unit, processing unit and output unit is required. Input unit, the mechanism of input unit that provides the instruction to the computer, and the devices used to provide the instruction or data to the computer, that devices are known as the input devices, and the basic input device are our keyboard and mouse. Next is a processing unit. After getting the data from a user, the data is stored into the memory. Then after, the further process is about processing. So that processing, the mechanism of processing is done by a processing unit. And then after, finally the result will be generated and result is going to the user. So the sending result to the user, that mechanism is called output mechanism, and typical output devices are monitor and printer. So in short, the input, memory, processor and output are the basic components of a typical computer. So that basic components, first I'll show you the image of that one, and then after in a detail we will discuss all the three units, that is input unit, processing unit and output unit. So see students, this is the basic components of a computer. First is the input. As we all know, without input, without instruction, computer cannot do anything. So first instruction. Then after processing. Processing is the core part of computer that process your instruction according to you, and then after, finally the output will be generated and that will be sent to the user. Then after, you can see the processing part is divided into two parts, that is control unit and ALU. ALU stands for arithmetic and logic unit. So they both together forms our central processing unit. And then after, you can see memory plays very important role. Memory stores the data, preserves the data for a long time in a computer. So two types of memory we have, primary memory and secondary memory. So these are the things we will discuss now. So first is the input unit. What is the use of input unit? Input unit provides the data to the computer, and this instruction you can give by a keyboard, mouse, joystick, barcode reader, universal serial bus, devices, then hard disk and compact disk. So these are the basic input devices. The keyboard is used to provide the textual data, then mouse works based on the pointer. So where we are pointing, based on that the input is going to the computer. Then after barcode reader, we have seen in most of the malls, in most of the shops, the barcode readers are there. So to store the price of that particular product inside the computer, they are using that product. So just they are keeping the barcode reader on a barcode that is available on the product, and then they will press the button that is on the top of a barcode reader, and then after the price will be stored into the computer. So this is the use of barcode reader. So this is our input unit. Input unit is used to give the data to the computer, and these are the basic input devices that we are using to give instruction to the computer in a different forms. Then after, the next is a memory and control unit. Memory means after collecting the input, we have to store the input somewhere. So the input is stored into the memory. So the computer memory retains data, instruction and processed output for a while, for a short duration or for a long duration. There are different types of memories. Some computer memories are capable of remembering the content for a very short duration, and this memory is known as a primary memory. Primary memory is the basic requirement of a computer. Whenever we are performing something at the initial stage, all the things are stored at the primary memory. And primary memory is a volatile memory, means it needs continuous power supply. If power will go in between, then you will lose your data from the primary memory. So primary memory is the basic memory for the computer, and it stores the data for a short duration time. When you will shut down the computer, the data will be gone from the primary memory. And then after, the next is a secondary memory, and another name of secondary memory is the auxiliary memory. And here the secondary memory preserves the data for a long time. And here it is not a volatile memory, means after, if you will shut down the computer or if power will go in between, the data will remain as it is inside the secondary memory or auxiliary memory. And the devices that use secondary memory are called secondary storage devices. And the example of secondary storage devices are hard disk and compact disk. These are the most popular secondary storage devices. And unlike the primary memory, the secondary storage is a non-volatile, slow, and less expensive and large in capacity. So here we can compare both the things. Means primary memory are a high speed memory. You can access data very fastly from the primary memory. Then after, primary memories are a expensive memory. Primary memory is a volatile memory. It needs continuous power supply, and it has a small storage capacity. Instead, the secondary memories are a non-volatile, means power supply is not required. Then after, slow, means it will take a time to get the data from a secondary memory. It is less expensive and the large in a storage capacity. So this is the comparison between our primary memory and secondary memory. And once the data is stored into the memory, then after, the next step is about processing. So processing, like what is the processing you want? Suppose if you want to perform some of the calculation on your data, then for that one another unit is there, ALU unit. So ALU stands for arithmetic and logic unit. So all the arithmetic, the calculations related tasks performed by a arithmetic and logic unit. And control unit. Suppose control unit means what is the requirement in between to processing. If something is required in between, then the control unit will provide that facilities to the data. So in between, to control the things, we have the separate unit, that is control unit, which manages the executions of instruction and control operations of other components of the computer. So all the things in the computer are handled by a control unit. So ALU and control units together forms our central processing unit, our CPU. And as we all know, our CPU is the brain of the computer. And some high-speed cache memory can also be a part of a CPU. Cache memory is a special memory that stores the frequently used data by you. So if that data you need, so from the cache memory you can get the data very fastly. So this is about the processing unit. And then after, our last unit, that is output unit. So output means we can assume the screen on which we can see the data, the processed result in front of us. So the output unit is normally a visual screen called monitor. Now monitor actually refers to a wall box of visual output mechanism of a computer. And there is another display screen is also the part of a monitor. So before, the older monitor were the provide the black and white, the gray shades output, and which supports only the text and numbers. But nowadays the colors monitors are available, and that provides us the information. The high quality graphics and animations are also available now in the color monitors. And to output the sound, we have special devices such as speakers and headphones. And to print the data on a paper, we have special device, that is printers. So the output devices, we can give the examples like a monitor, then after display screen, then after for the sound we have speakers and headphones, and then after to print the data on a paper we have printer. So this is the basic components of a computer. So at the last again we will see the components of a computer. Thank you, students. Now we will discuss the characteristics of a computer. So first, through this diagram we will discuss the characteristics. What is the quality of the computer? So first one is I am fast. So we all know computer is always faster than a man. Then after I am automatic. Once the instruction given to the computer, the rest of the work computer will do by itself. I am programmable. We are planning the program for the computer, and once the program is fixed, computer will work based on the programs. I can remember stuff for a long time. So computer brain is very sharper than our human brain because it can preserve the data for a long time. And I am accurate. Computer is very accurate. It will always generate the correct output. So these are the qualities, the characteristics of a computer. So that we will discuss now in a detail. So students, the first one characteristic is the automation. Computer can automatically perform a given task. Means once the data and necessary instruction given to the computer, then after human intervention is not required. And that is why the searching of the things that we are searching from the internet, that things are possible through the automation only, because we all know just we are writing what we want in the search box, and then after result is coming from the computer side, and we always observe that always the relevant results are coming. That is because of this feature, automation. Then after accuracy, computer generates very accurate result. Any complex arithmetic and logical computations with the highest accuracy computer can perform. And here it will always generate the correct output, and suppose if incorrect output is coming, and that is because of the bad input. If you will give the bad input, then the bad output will come. Means if you will give the incorrect input to the computer, then only the incorrect output will be come, and that is known as a GIGO. That means garbage in, garbage out. So if you will give the incorrect output, then only the incorrect result will be generated by a computer. So means at the end we can say that that is not the fault of computer, but that is the fault of human being. Then after long term storage, computer can store the data for a long time in a secondary storage, and whenever you need the information in between, you can access that information anytime according to your wish. Then after ability to perform mechanical and repetitive tasks, means computer has no any feelings like a human beings. If we will do the same work again and again for hours, then we will be tired and will be bored from that work. But computer never give or never do that things. If some same person is working for the hours in a computer, that computer will not be tired for that person. So like this, computer can do not possess the human oriented limitations such as loss of interest, liking and physical capacity. And the next and most important, that is programmability. So computers can be programmed to execute predefined set of instruction, and writing program once and executing it many times saves a lot of time and cost. Means here you can prepare the program for a one time, then as many time as you want you can run the same program. So all the time you not need to write that program again and again. So that is the programmability. So these are the characteristics of our computer. Then after, the next term are coming, what is hardware, software and firmware. So that we will discuss now. First, what is software? So far we have learned that the computer is a multi-purpose machine and cannot perform any task on its own, because if you want to perform the computer, then we have to give the instruction to the computer. This set of instruction is called a program. The development of the program becomes easier if a step-by-step guidelines to solve the given task called algorithm is designed. So basically we can say the program and algorithm are relevant to each other. Okay, so first to write it down the program, we are writing that things in our own language. So that is known as the algorithm. And then after, the same thing we are storing inside the computer in the form of computer understandable language. So that is known as a program. So at the end we can say that the software refers to organized collection of computer programs, data and related documentations about the computer programs. So basically we can say the software means the programs that is stored inside the computer, and the programs that we are using to perform some task. So that is known as a software. And if I'll give you the example of software, so our Word, PowerPoint, our Excel, and most important example of software is our operating system. So these all are the things are stored inside the computer, and to work with the computer effectively we are using that programs. So that is software. Then after, next is a hardware. So we can see that the physical entity of the computer, that is known as a hardware. The things, the parts of a computer that we can touch, that called hardware. So that is the term hardware. So basically we can say the software is fixed inside the CPU, and that is made up with the step-by-step clear guidelines. So that is called program, and that is known as a software. And then after, hardware means the physical parts of computer that we can touch is known as a hardware. And at the last we have the topic, that is firmware. So with some of the hardware, the software instructions are coming with them, means integrated along with the software instruction many times come integrated along with the hardware. So this software is closely coupled with the hardware is known as a firmware. So this software is developed by the manufacturer company only. So who is developing the hardware? The same company is preparing the software for the hardware, and whenever we are buying that hardware, along with that one only the software is also coming. And some of the example if I'll give you of that devices, so that is washing machine, traffic lights, digital camera and microwave oven. So we all knows that in a washing machine the timers are coming. So when you will set the timer, once the timer is over, the buzzer will generate. So that is the software mechanism given to the hardware to the washing machine. That means once the timer will over, the buzzer will generate. So we'll come to know that the timing is over. So this is the facility that developed by a manufacturer company only. And in the firmware we can't do any type of changes. That is developed by the company only, and that is coming along with the product. So we can't do the changes inside that settings. So that is firmware. Means the software along with the hardware is known as a firmware. So here we are concluding our chapter. So I hope you understood the chapter. Here this is the summary. Computers are machines and take data and instruction. And then in to its memory and execute them on a demand. In this chapter, we saw working of a typical computers. We learned about different input, output and processing units with examples. And because of the characteristics like speed, accuracy and storage capacity, computers are used for many applications. In this chapter, we saw the highlights of the important characteristics of computer along with some applications. And finally, we discussed the concepts of hardware, software and firmware. So this is our chapter 1, Introduction to Computer. I hope you understood that one. Thank you, students.